Aggregate planning determines production levels over the next couple of months or the next couple periods. You can have an aggregate plan, like somebody already determined those production levels, and still have a lot of work to do because you have to still figure out how you're going to actually implement that plan. That's what's going on here. Let's look. The general manager of Main House Gaming has collected the following information. Oh, okay. Each production employee can work 150 hours of regular time. Okay, that's good. Each production employee can work 50 hours of overtime a month. Okay, that's good. Oh, that means that, oh, by the way, each production employee can provide up to 200 hours a month. It takes, one production employee 1 hour to produce 10 units. Okay, that's good. And oh, by the way, there are 7 production employees. You say, oh, yeah, okay, where's this headed? Because, wait a minute, what is that information? That is all typical information in aggregate planning for figuring out how to implement a plan, right? How many hours can a particular person contribute? Okay, how many people do you need to produce what? We've just been provided that for Main House Gaming as a bullet point list. Now wait, what is it that we're supposed to do with it? Notice that the manager is not done specifying things. The general manager wants a plan that uses overtime. Okay, so this is all about strategy. An implementation strategy, if you will. Uses overtime to its maximum benefit and minimizes layoffs by reducing the size of the workforce. Okay, so this is an option, overtime, and so is this one, although he says he or she would not like this option used very much, reducing the size of the workforce only when 1 or more employees would be left completely idle for a month. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Now, how should Main Street Gaming implement scenario 1A chase demand strategy? Oh, okay, wait a minute. We already have a plan. That's right, we already have a plan. The plan is from scenario 1A. Now wait a minute, what were the particulars of that plan? You see that, like, if you have the note frame, you see that there is this big blank table. Now, the backstory. At the top it says forecast. All aggregate plans begin with a forecast. The forecast in this particular aggregate plan was that 10,000 units of sale would be needed in the first month. So I just wrote that. The second month was forecast to be pretty busy, 35,000. The third month, only 15,000. The fourth month, quiet, only 5,000. The fifth month, quiet, only 5,000. And the sixth month, really busy, 15,000. Now you say quiet, busy, what? These are the units of sale that need to be produced. This is the demand forecast. Oh, and by the way, this is just fact. This isn't something that we have determined. I'm just copying this over from some notes on the earlier scenario 1A. Oh, now this particular scenario is asking us to implement the chase demand aggregate plan, because in scenario 1A, an aggregate plan was already recommended. The chase aggregate plan specified that, oh, okay, well, since there's going to be demand for 10,000 units of sale, go ahead and produce 10,000 units of sale overall in the first month. Then in the second month, that's going to be a busier month, so go ahead and produce more. 40,000 was specifically the overall production level for the second month. Then the third month, cut that back to 10,000 units of sale. And then the fourth month, follow that with another 10,000 units of sale. And from scenario 1A, one feature of the chase demand strategy was that we were planning on not doing anything in the fifth month. The proposed production level was 0, followed by a record 50,000 units of sale to be produced in that last month. Okay, now that was the plan. One way to think about it is this is the backstory, right? This is what has already happened. This is what we know so far. Now, what do? Oh, well, we note that the general manager said, find a way to do this using overtime and reducing the size of the workforce when necessary, when at least one person would otherwise be idle the entire month. Oh, all right. So I need to implement this plan. The best way to think about this process of implementing an aggregate plan, figuring out its particulars, is first off, it's not really very much about formulas, it's just logic. Second, take it 1 month at a time. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's look at the first month. Okay, in the first month, first off, we don't really actually need to know this to do the implementation scheme that the general manager is asking for, the various inventory levels, but that might be helpful to comment on this whole scheme later. We might as well fill in these 2 lines right here. Say, fill in the inventory lines. If you already know the overall production level and you already know the demand, then you've got everything that you need to just do the arithmetic and figure out what the inventory levels would be if you were to follow that plan. Oh, all right. How do I do that? Well, first off, we make the assumption that's perfectly consistent with everything we've been told about this situation, that there aren't any units of sale in stock right now. You know, main house gaming's units of sale. Oh, meaning that here at the beginning, in month 1, we start with nothing. We're going to produce 10,000, but we're going to ship 10,000. That's another way to think of the forecast. This is what's being shipped out, which means that just logically, we're going to end up with nothing in inventory at the end of month 1. Oh, okay, that means we'll have nothing going into month 2. Now, month 2, the plan is to make 40,000, but simultaneously, 35,000 of those are going to be shipped out. That means that by the end of that month, that's why it's called ending inventory, there'll be 5,000 units of sale left in inventory. Okay, now those 5,000 we'll take with us into the 3rd month. We'll produce another 10,000, so that's a total of 15,000 available, which is good because we need to ship 15,000 at the end of the 3rd month. Oh, all right, that means that we've got nothing left in inventory. Right, we have nothing left in inventory going into the 4th month. We'll make 10,000, we'll ship out 5,000. That means there's 5,000 left over. So we'll have 5,000 going into the 5th month, of which we're taking vacation. We're not doing anything, but I guess somebody's working in the shipping department because they'll ship out the 5,000. And we will have nothing left in inventory going into the busy 6th month. Going into the busy 6th month here, we'll make 50,000, we'll ship out 50,000, and guess what? That means we'll have nothing left in inventory. Oh, all right. Now, you say, what? Where are you getting those numbers? That you could treat as a formula if you want to. That's what's known as inventory logic. What was I doing when I was calculating these? I was saying EI, ending inventory for a period T, like a certain month T, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you pick. What is it? It equals BI, beginning inventory for that month, plus production for that month, minus demand for that month. What you end up with is what you start with plus anything that you make minus anything that you ship out. That is how you calculate ending inventory. All right, so you could treat that as a formula. You say, all right, well, I see where we are putting the ending inventory, but BI, what's the beginning inventory here? I don't see a line for that. Remember, the beginning inventory for a certain month is the ending inventory for the month before. What you begin with in a certain month, like for instance, month 3, what you begin with is whatever you had ended the month before with. So the beginning inventory for month 3, for instance, would be 5,000. Okay, well, that's just inventory logic. Now, there's 2 lines there for inventory. You can speak of inventory, the inventory that results from a plan, like this one. You can speak of it in terms of ending inventory, just did that. Or you can speak of it in terms of average inventory. Average inventory is just a variation on that. How do I calculate average inventory? Average inventory for a certain period is the beginning inventory for that period plus the ending inventory for that period divided by 2. In other words, that's what you average. You say, okay, well then I guess it's time to fill that out for this particular table. Wait a minute, month 1. If I'm to calculate average inventory for month 1, I need the beginning inventory for month 1, and there's no month before month 1. Right, we had assumed that the beginning inventory for month 1 was 0. That's what I said was perfectly consistent with what we were told about the situation. We don't have any right now here at the beginning. Oh, okay, so the average inventory month 1 is 0, its beginning inventory, plus 0, its ending inventory, divided by 2. Yeah, that averages out to 0. But month 2, the beginning inventory for month 2 is 0. The ending inventory for month 2 is 5,000. Divided by 2, the average inventory for month 2 is 2,500. For month 3, the beginning inventory is 5,000. The ending inventory is 0. This plus this divided by 2. The average inventory is 2,500. Oh, and then for month 4, the beginning inventory is 0. The ending inventory is 5,000. Divided by 2 is 2,500. And then for month 5, 5,000 plus 0, 2,500. And then, okay, for month 6, 0 plus 0, an average inventory throughout that month of 0. Oh, so we can see that this particular plan, except for the very beginning and the very end where we wipe out inventory during a month, we're generally carrying around on average 2,500 units of sale in stock during that month. Oh, all right, now wait a minute. We still have to figure out how to get those numbers to work in reality. The proposed production levels vary everything from 0 to 50,000. Begin at the first month. Now the real implementation. Begin at the first month and say, all right, what's been proposed is that we produce 10,000. It seems to be in this particular problem, remember there's no strict formulas, but in this particular problem it appears to be all about people. How many people you have. How many people do you need to produce 10,000? Okay, well let me think. How many people do I need to produce 10,000? Well, you know, I have 7 people right now. I'm just consulting the information I was given. And 7 people, if they were working 150 hours of regular time each, I mean, like basically I keep the crew that I have, that is a total of, and I'm just doing some scratch work here, 7 times 150, that is a total of 1,050 regular time hours. That is what I can expect out of the crew right now. And I haven't written anything here yet because I haven't decided anything yet. Now, you know, that's not the same thing though as the number of units, because we were talking about, do we have enough people right now for 10,000 units? Oh, I knew I was going to need this. 1 hour to produce 10 units. That's telling me that right now I have enough people to produce, I'm just multiplying that times 10 units. This is right now. This is my essentially regular time capacity for right now. I could produce 10,500 units. Oh, which means that I could produce, it's not exactly the same, but it's pretty close. Oh, it looks like I'm sort of, if you will, sized to produce basically that amount right now. I just made a decision. Concerns regular time production. We've got enough people and just barely enough people. You can explore this by dropping it to 6, and you'll see that you won't be able to produce all 10,000. We have enough people to produce the 10,000 units in regular time. We would definitely prefer that, because that we expect is going to be less expensive than overtime, so let's just go ahead and do it. Which means that there is no overtime production. We have the people that we need to do exactly that. That means that we'll have 7 people, which means you don't have to hire or lay anybody off. Idle regular time hours, however, we will have 50. You say, huh, what? Comes from that right there. Because to produce 10,000 units, you only need 1,000 regular time hours. Your 7 people are going to provide you this many regular time hours. That's just logic. It's telling you that, okay, there's 50. We'll give them something else to do, like repair the machinery or something. Oh, okay. Now, that was just month 1. Remember, it's just logic. Kind of picture the situation. Month 2, we're expecting a busy month. Month 2, we're going to turn around and we're going to produce 40,000 units of sale. Notice that we've already figured out with the group we have right now of 7 that we can produce 10,000. I don't think that group, even working overtime, is going to be able to produce 40,000. Okay, 4 times as much. So in order to tackle the second month, what we should do is a little bit of scratch work to determine what size of crew do you need to produce 40,000 units of sale in 1 month. So I take that 40,000 right here, right? Just out somewhere where there's room for some scratch work. 40,000 units of sale. Now, 40,000 units of sale, how many people do you need? What I would want to do is take that number and divide it by the total number of units of sale a single person could produce in a month, because then that would reveal how many people you need. Well, a single person can provide 150 hours of regular time and can provide 50 hours of overtime, which we have the okay to use, which means a single person could provide 200 hours of time a month. Each hour they could produce 10 units of sale. That means a single person could provide 200 hours, producing 10 each hour, which is 2,000. Take 2,000, divide it into 40,000. It divides quite neatly. You get this number 20. You say, okay, yeah, well, I've got the number 20. It means you need 20 people. It's just logic. You need 20 people to cover that production level in the second month. Okay, better implement that now. Better implement that, and it might be easier to do this. Go down here, make the adjustment. Size of the workforce. For the second month, it has to be 20. There won't be any unused regular time because those folks will also be working overtime. Now, we're definitely not reducing the size of the workforce, so there aren't any layoffs, but see where it says new hires? In order to get this to work, think about it. We had 7 people, now we have 20. We'll have to hire 13 more people. So I'm noting that, right? We're figuring out what we have to do that month. Now, regular time versus overtime. We're going to produce a total of 40,000, but we're going to have everybody work every hour that they can. That means that 20 people times 150 times 10 can produce 30,000 games in regular time, but they're going to have to produce the other 10,000, 20 times 50 times 10 in overtime to get all 40,000. Say, well, okay, that's month 2. Now we keep going. Month 3, and notice this is the difficulty with chase demand in general. In month 3, we're going to turn right around, go back to 10,000 units of sale. Well, actually, we've seen this movie before. We kind of know how it ends, right? If you want to produce 10,000 units of sale, you need to go back to 7 people. You need to go back to 7 people who can neatly produce all 10,000 in regular time, although we've seen this before, right? Your 50 hours of regular time you won't use. You're not going to work any overtime. You're certainly not hiring anybody for the third month, but unfortunately, to go from 20 to 7, you are laying off 13 people. And that your strategy says, okay, that's what you'll need to do to implement this. Oh, wait a minute, in the fourth month, same thing. Fourth month, we can do this 10,000 units of sale with the 7 people that we have. Don't have to work any overtime. At least here we don't have to do anything to the workforce because we're keeping the same workforce, but that does mean we're going to have 50 idle units. Well, that's okay. Now the fifth month, this one's pretty easy. How do we do this? We are not going to produce anything. That means we'll have a workforce of 0. We'll have a workforce of 0, which means that you did lay off 7 people at least for the month. You certainly didn't hire anybody. You're certainly not doing anything in regular time or overtime. So certainly isn't any unused regular time hours. Fine. Now, to finish this, all we have to do is that one last month. Notice we've put everyone on vacation for a full month. Now we have to figure out how to turn around and produce 50,000 units of sale, a record amount. Well, the scratch work is the same as for month 2. We say, okay, how many people? Because I will start basically down here. How many people do I need? All right, 50,000 divided by 200 times 10. I see on my calculator a 25. You need 25 people if you're going to produce 50,000 in a month. Okay. You will use all their regular time because it comes out nice and neat. You don't have anybody right now moving into this month. That means that you have to hire 25 people. Certainly aren't laying off anyone. You will work 25 people times 150 times 10. You will produce 37,500 units of sale in regular time that month, and then an additional 12,500 in overtime just to get up to the 50,000. At that point, I think we have our, yes, we do. We have our implementation scheme. You're going, oh, that was a lot of scratch work. Where is the implementation scheme? Essentially right here. We are mostly producing in regular time, although we would say that we are going to be working overtime in the 2nd and the 6th month. I just note that. And we are varying the size of the workforce considerably throughout the planning horizon. Matter of fact, varying the size of the workforce considerably, we're varying it from as little as nobody is working for us in the 5th month to 25 people will be working for us in the 6th month. This is, however, consistent with the strategy that up at the top of the paper, the production manager said that he or she would like to see used in figuring out how to follow those actual production levels.